Hi, my name is Will Layman. I'm from Alexandria, Virginia, and my climate action project is focused on getting solar power at my high school, Alexandria City High School, which used to be TC Williams. So when I started my project, I set two goals: to increase the presence of solar power at my school and to promote solar energy to my community. My initial plan was to present my proposal with research to the school board and then begin my project, but there was a problem with this plan. My district has just started renovations on my school's secondary campus, Minnie Howard. And as a part of this, the school has pledged to make the renovated campus a net zero building. Obviously, this is a super good thing, and I'm very happy my school is making efforts to become more sustainable. But in terms of my project, it's kind of a roadblock because it's going to get a lot of the money. Sorry. So when I found out about this, I realized that I had to readjust my time frame and my goals. So after a little thinking, I realized that the only thing better than getting solar now is getting solar later. But the problem with getting solar later is that I'm not going to be here because I'm going off to college. So I modified my plan with the same goals and just slightly different methods. So my new plan involved creating several resources that future students can use to complete my project for when the time comes. Over the past several weeks, I've been collaborating with my teacher, Mr. Earl, to help my class learn more about solar energy. And one of the classes he teaches already has a unit on solar that he's just modifying to fit my project. So as you can see in these images, we've been conducting labs outside to learn exactly how the panels work and to measure their effectiveness in different scenarios. And we've been up on the roof to measure room for solar power as well. So also as a part of my project, I'm writing a proposal that they can submit to the school board when the time comes, because I don't want to just leave all the work for them to do. So I'm hoping it can operate as a sort of fill in the blank document that they can just change the numbers that change over time, like price and energy production, so they don't have to write a whole new proposal when the time comes. As a part of this, I wanted to do a bit more research as to where my school gets its energy in the first place, because that impacts how we impact the environment ourselves. So we use natural gas that we get from the company Washington Gas Light. So they get most of their gas from the Marcellus Shale in Pennsylvania, that has tons of negative environmental impacts of mining. There's like so many of them to get into, but it's like acid mine drainage, deforestation, erosion, and even mining can cause like earthquakes and stuff. So that's obviously terrible for the environment. And I want to get my school off of that energy. And once the gas is mined, it has to be refined in this Cove Point LNG terminal, which is right on the Chesapeake Bay, which is horrible for the environment. So I just wanted to include that to show like how our actions have a direct impact on the environment. So now I'll move on to the logistics of my project. That are some of the numbers that are included in my proposal that can change or they won't change. So I made an effort to get a lot more exact estimate of panels that could fit on the roof. So I basically went section by section and I measured out the lengths and the widths. So I could divide that by the lengths and the widths of my panels. So that way I get the number of rows and columns and just multiply that together and get the number of panels. So I'm not going to read all these out, but I got a grand total of about 5,057 panels. So another thing that I spent a lot more time going to get an exact number on was pricing. Due to the size of the project, the school is going to be paying per watt costs, not cost per panel. So we do just 340 watts per panel times 5,057 panels times $2.2 per watt. And that $2.2 number is the base price of energy in my area for electricity. But since this is such a big project, we get a much lower rate. I just couldn't get that rate because the project isn't in action yet. And after doing that, we get a price of about $3,800,000, which is a lot of money, but it will go down. So the first thing that cuts it is a federal rebate. It's an immediate 33% rebate offered by the US government, which brings it down to about $2.5 million. And this actually used to be a lower rate, but thanks to Biden's Build Back Better plan, it's a lot more beneficial for us now. So next, grants. Again, I don't have an exact number here just because the availability changes depending on what time of the year and stuff like that. But I picked out a couple examples. The Department of Energy offers funding opportunities to encourage collaborative partnerships among industry, universities, as well as federal, state, and local governments. So they offer a lot of stuff. And on their website, they always have a ton of options available. The EPA awards more than $4 billion in funding for grants and other assistance agreements from small nonprofit organizations to large state governments. The EPA works to help many visionary organizations achieve their environmental goals. So that would be another prime option. And now, speaking of savings, there's another way that my school would get money back. So after entering my data into the PV Watts calculator, which is a reliable source for solar homeowners everywhere, I found out that the school will be saving about $238,000 per year just by money that we wouldn't have to pay the grid to get for. So, and also keep in mind that once this money is paid back, we're effectively making $240,000 a year just by having the array on our roof, which would be a ton of money for like sports, all that stuff. And now finally, I'm going to get into the actual environmental impact of my project, which is of course why we're all here. So for every kilowatt hour of natural gas energy, there's approximately 19 ounces of CO2 emissions that enter the atmosphere. So you multiply that by the solar array's energy production, which I got from the PV Watts calculator, and then I converted to tons because it wasn't ounces. And then you get 1,222 tons of CO2 per year that no longer enters our atmosphere. It contributes to climate change, ocean acidification, all that bad stuff. So I'm sorry for throwing all those numbers at y'all, but I wanted to show you kind of what things that I was putting in my proposal that would be effective at changing people's minds. And some of these numbers are going to change, which is where I need to have faith in the future generations of students, because I can provide them with all the tools and experience, but I need their motivation for the project to succeed. So now the reason I have faith in them is because any student in this class kind of went out of their way to choose this elective. My school has dozens of electives to choose from. Sorry. And if for whatever reason, students still aren't fully invested, going up onto the roof, spending class periods outside and doing hands-on science, that kind of curriculum is meant to get them invested in this project.
I'm sorry, one more minute, please.
So in the end, my project didn't necessarily go the way I planned and I had to shift my time frame, but I still believe that it will undoubtedly have a positive impact in my community. By laying the groundwork for future generations, I hope to turn my school into a role model for sustainability so that others can soon follow suit. Thank you, Turning Green, for inspiring me to take action, and also thank you everyone for your time.
Well, thank you so much. And again, thank you guys for sticking with stuff, even though it's hard. I think that's a really great entry point into what life's going to be like. Don't give up, don't take no, and just keep fighting for the things you believe in. And eventually you will win. So thanks a lot, Will.